Wife cheated with coworker. My wife, 42, and I'm, 44, have been married for 19 years. We have been together for 25 years. We have 3 great kids under the age of 14. In 2015 she lost her mother to cancer, and in 2016 her father to cancer. This sends her into a deep depression. For the following 2 years I took care of the kids while she worked. Dead bedroom starts during this time. Nothing makes her happy. Now because she doesn't talk to me, I start playing video games when the kids go to bed. After 2 years she starts coming out of her depression. She talks more and wants to do stuff with the family. We start being physical again. This went on for a year, then I lost my father. This sent me into a depression because we were very close. Like my wife, I closed myself off to her. I started playing video games more and I ignored my wife. I never stopped saying I love you or giving hugs or take her out. We start sleeping in different rooms because our son had a medical condition where we had to keep eye on him at night. So I slept in his room. I moved my Xbox in there and played video games for a couple of hours till I fell asleep. Then COVID happens. My kids' school goes remote and my wife started working from home. My wife's job required her to start looking for supplies to reopen her business when the restriction stops. She starts working closely with another member of her company. After a few months she starts being distant and stops communicating with me. I try to keep telling her I love her and buying small gifts to show my love and appreciation. We decided that 20 to 21 school we would keep our kids at home to remote learn because our son had a serious medical condition. I was so busy with kids' school I really didn't notice the distance getting worse until much later. Dead bedroom starts again. Then in the summer of 2021 I start to work for Lyft because we needed extra money. I worked on the days she works from home so she could be close to our son's school. In the fall of 2021 I picked up this lady from the airport and drive her to her hotel downtown. During this ride she talks to her female friend on the phone about her meeting her AP to have sex because they are both in town for business. She said her husband at home with kids and is playing video game. They haven't had sex in over a year. He is too busy to know she cheating. I start thinking this sounds like us. So I started being more affectionate and more loving. I'm already a loving and affectionate person. Nothing distance is getting worse. I write a letter telling her I love her and I know there is distance between us. I want to work it out, but she has to willing to work on us. She said she will try to be better. For the next year she shows hardly any affection and doesn't want sex because her depression pills given her no sex drive. We barely hold hands, don't say she loves me unless I say it first. When we are in the car together she sleeps so she doesn't talk. D-Day was May 4th of this year. My wife went into the office. I went to work and I was texting her during the day, no response. Then she finally called me and I tell her I have been texting her all day. She tells me she never got my text because of the signal in her office. She has Google Chat so I will message her there, it will show up on her work computer. No responses. She gets home and after we put the kids to sleep she takes a shower. This is where I finally broke down and checked her phone. Now May 4th is a big Star Wars day. May the 4th be with you. So I check her texts from me, it's true she didn't get them until she left the office. I checked Google Chat, this is where I found her cheating. She woke up this day and messaged him on Google Chat all the May the 4th gifts. I am a Star Wars fan also. Did I get one? Absolutely not. So I checked all their messages and the affair has been going on for almost 3 years. There was tons of "I miss you" and "I love you." I feel so stupid. I am completely devastated. This guy's moved to Kansas in 2020, but comes into office 1 week a month since he works remote the other weeks. I guess when they would have Zoom meetings with each other to get their business open, he began to flirt. In the past, guys would flirt with her, she would shot them down. This guy's wasn't as handsome as me. I'm not 10, I have a little dad bod. Maybe I'm a 6 to 7, he was a 4. She began to flirt back, then they would go to lunch together. Then the lunches turned to going to his hotel room for lunchtime sex and tell me she had work late to have more sex. I even saw a text to her friend saying the sex wasn't better. She just craves the attention. So I shot everything to myself. I didn't say anything. I was having surgery in the summer and needed her help. After surgery, we had decided to move closer to family. She barely helped me look for houses. I checked her phone again in October. I guess the relationship came to an end in June before my surgery. He was mad that she was taking time to care of me and the kids. I was wondering why she became more affectionate and loving and wanting to have sexy time with me after I healed. Last week we got a huge argument because she started being distant and wasn't communicating again. So I yelled and told her I knew she cheated with a coworker. She denied and said I was overreacting. Then I shoved the evidence in her face. Then she stops yelling and putting me down and started crying. I just left and went to my sister's house. I came back home to be with the kids for Christmas. Then I will leave again. I told her I am filing for divorce after the new year. She cried and asked who will drive her to work and pick her up. Who will help her with the kids? I told her to ask AP. Then she starts crying more, saying we can work it out, do marriage counseling. I will seek full custody when I file the divorce paperwork, also alimony and child support. 25 years I feel is wasted. OP, you are doing all the right things to be done. While she was absent for her depression, you let her be and not cheat, you were loyal. When you were depressed, she fell alone and who knows what came in her head, but I think that this 3-year-long affair wasn't the first, but well. She instead of tried to fix her thing with you that were produced by her depression and thoughts, she instead cheat on you for 3 long years. She didn't demonstrate any kind of affection if it wasn't you the one who seeks it, so now she want to fix everything. Now let her go to her AP. Do you know if AP is married? Because if he is, you should let his wife know what has been going on for the last 3 years. And do as you said, ask for full custody, child support, alimony, basic ali. Even if you live in a no-fault state, for the custody might work the evidence that you have about her using her time to be out cheating instead of being with you and the kids. Also loved the part when you told her to ask her AP about it. Story 2. I, 32, abandoned my girlfriend, 27, in the city after she repeatedly broke my trust. Counting this relationship, my last 3 relationships have ended in me being cheated on. We had been together 8 months, and had been planning a trip to a convention together. Shortly before the trip, she excitedly told me that she made a new friend who was giving us free tickets to the convention. Then things kept snowballing from there. She admitted having flirted with this guy by accident and asked me if she should feel bad. I asked her if he knew she had a boyfriend and her response was no. It felt weird to bring up. And I've learned people are less likely to give you free stuff if you tell them you're in a relationship already. I told her this made me feel uncomfortable and I didn't think it was outrageous of me to ask her to be careful with her actions and words around this guy. She knew I had been cheated on previously and it had destroyed my mental health. She had told me that she had cheated in a previous relationship when she was young and in a bad place, but that she wasn't like that anymore. She seemed to understand my reservations about this guy that she couldn't help laying out in front of me. At the time I hoped it was just her being transparent. So we finally get to the day of the convention, and she makes a beeline to her new friend and spends 90% of her time by his side. I see whispering together and shoulder rubs and giggling and all kinds of things that make me uncomfortable, but I keep it to myself until we're alone. At one point I tried to go hold her hand, something we like to do often, and she pushed it away and said, "Not right now, I'm stressed," while going on to continue laughing in conversation with this other guy. At the end of the day we're alone and I say, "Look, I really don't like how I'm being ignored for this guy you just met. I feel like you're crossing boundaries here that hurt me a lot, and I just want to reassert that this hurts me and give you a chance to stop. I don't like this guy, and I don't like the extra attention you're giving him." Her responses were, "I'm not cheating on you, you can be his friend too. Just try to talk more to him. And I feel like you're targeting how I'm treating a friend because you've been cheated on before." I held firm. "I don't like it, and I hope you take my feelings here seriously." Early next morning she picked up her phone and was typing away. I pretending to keep my eyes closed and sleep, but I could see she was texting this guy. Saying how we had a fight, she felt stressed, worthless, scared. Meanwhile the guy fed her positive affirmations about how special she was and how he liked her. My stomach kept sinking the more I caught out of the corner of my half-closed eyes until I had enough. I said good morning and she rolled over on her side to face the phone away and started talking about how she was texting her coworkers. I gave her a weird look and she said, "My back hurts. You think I'm trying to hide something because I wanted to roll over to where my back was comfortable? You were texting his name." "No, I wasn't. I just told you who I was texting. You're targeting me again." My eyes widened. I sat up and cast a 1,000-mile stare through the wall ahead of me. "Why would you lie about that? I was watching you texting him." She had a small mental breakdown and began begging with me. "I'm so sorry. I'll never do it again. I felt like you were targeting me with him. He's just a friend and I don't want you to think anything else." Still, we made up and went back to the convention where she again made a beeline for this guy and wandered around buying him things. At the end of the day I told her I was going back to the hotel room and she said she was going to go out with the guy for drinks and I was welcome to come along and that she might stay at his hotel room. I said, "Nah, I'm good, goodbye." That goodbye was the last time I saw her. I went and packed my stuff and drove back home several hours away. At 5 a.m. in the morning she realized I had left and called me freaking out that I abandoned her. I told her to enjoy the rest of her trip but there was nothing else in it for me, and that all her stuff was still in the room her ex-boyfriend, me, had paid for. I also told her if she critically needed a ride home I'd pick her up, not as her boyfriend but only out of necessity. Her new friend would likely be able to drive her anyway. Here she bashed me for abandoning my girlfriend with no place to go. I listened to a lot of crying and begging but held firm. I've seen this story play out several times before. I no longer cared. It's hard to describe how I feel now. It's very hard to trust people without expecting hidden motives or something beyond my vision happening that would hurt me. I feel like I was right in finally putting my foot down, and every close friend I talked to about this told me I did the right thing and shouldn't have put up with that activity. But still sometimes I have nagging questions about if I overreacted, or if I was too sensitive. Like, if there's some way I could have done better, if I was an asshole somehow, let me know, right? Oh my God, you're still having doubts? She gave you every signal and every cue, more like red flags and alarm bells and air raid sirens, that she was cheating, or was about to. She also admitted that she likes to flirt with men and pretend that she's single, for free stuff. WTF? I would have ended it right there. She was disrespecting you and being completely inappropriate. Many people would have ended it long before you did. But I'll go hang out with him. Maybe spend some time in his hotel room is so brazen it's shocking. Be thankful she wasn't subtle about it. You absolutely did the right thing. I wouldn't even have offered her a ride, tbh. Let her new BF take care of it. She doesn't deserve anything from you except to be ignored and forgotten. But, again, be thankful she was so obvious about it. Many cheaters aren't. You dodged a cannonball. I'm sorry. I really, really hope you find someone who deserves your trust someday. And I hope that you find the strength to trust them, despite your previous experiences. It's not easy.